Hey guys, it's been a while since my last video, but with Season 6 of Eternal Return just starting, and all these new skins and the new casual game mode that's coming out soon, I think there's going to be more players coming in, so I wanted to make like a sort of general guide for them, so that hopefully they learn something and enjoy their time with the game. So the first thing I want to mention is that you can try out any character that you want if you go to practice mode, which is in the bottom right, and then the first option. This way you can get a feeling for each of the characters before spending any of your 8 coins. Now, let's talk about plans, or routes as a lot of people call them. One of the most important things in Eternal Return is choosing a good route and becoming efficient with it. Even though MOBA mechanics matter, it won't completely save you from someone who's got an item lead on you, so it's important to practice routes until you feel like you've become familiar with them. Once you've decided on what character you want to play, the first thing you should do is go over to the loadout tab. Here, after selecting your character, it'll show the different weapon types they can use. Choose one and click on Search Saved Plans. By default, it will show you the plans with the highest recommended score in your language. Personally, I prefer changing it to Korean because they generally have more well-tested plans. After you choose something that has a high rating, click on Import. If you want to take the game a bit more seriously and want in-depth guides and discussion on your character, I recommend going over to the Character Hub Discord. It's a Discord that has detailed information on every character written by high-ranking players that main them. For augments, if you want to know what the most used ones are for your character, you can either check in the Character Hub Discord, or you can use a website such as dac.gg to check. Once you get into the game, it's important that you go to the zones in the order that the plan tells you to. Also, something you may not know is that there's a way to guarantee getting at least one of each item when looting in your zone, and that's by sticking to your loot distribution. Each group of boxes that are near each other form a loot distribution, and each zone has at least 5 of them. So when the game starts, as long as there aren't more than 5 people spawning in the same zone, all 5 will find their items, assuming that they loot properly. It may seem overwhelming to remember all of this, but it's alright if you don't. Just remember to loot boxes that are near each other rather than running around aimlessly in a zone. Another tip is that things like branches and rocks can be found in any zone, so you can leave them for last if your inventory is full. Unless you need leather from a chicken, I recommend ignoring animals until you have at least finished your weapon, and other players until you have finished your entire build. Finally, if you finish your route but you seem to be missing one item, you can always right-click that item from your plan to purchase it with credits, but I'll talk more about credits later in the video. After you've become consistent with finishing all your items in your build, the next thing you should focus on is making food and SP drinks. Food can make the difference on whether you win or lose a fight, so it's important to always have some in your inventory before fighting. If you feel like crafting food is still a little too difficult for you, and you want to focus more on your route and not so much on crafting food, you can consider taking the Spirit Culling Augment, which helps you with your SP, and the Logistics Augment, which gives you healing potions every night cycle. You can also obtain food from blue air supplies. The easiest food you can make is hamburgers, which is made from the bread that you start off with, and meat that drops from boars, chickens, wolves, and bears. Aside that, one of the best ways to make food is to grab any lighters you find in zones such as school, alley, factory, and dock. You can use lighters with rocks that you find in every zone to make steak, baked carp, or baked potatoes. This also works for SP drinks. You can use lighters with the water that you start off with to make different high SP drinks such as hot honey water, purified water, hot chocolate, and Americano. Lastly, for food, if you ever want to min-max and learn what foods you can make along your route, you can go to i.gg where you can put in zones and it'll show you all the different food combinations that you can make in that route. Last but not least are rare materials, objectives, and credits. In reality, rare materials are epic rarity, but they're called rare because they can't be found through regular boxes. Rare materials are obtained through specific objectives, mobs, opening purple air supplies, or by buying them with credits. The 5 different rare materials that you can't find among regular loot boxes are Meteorite, Tree of Life, Mithril, Force Core, and Blood Sample. You can press tab at any time to get a heads up on when an objective will spawn on the map. Rare materials build into legendary items that have better stats than other items in the game, so it's important to learn what legendary items your character is best with so you can try to transition into them once you get to the late game. A good tip for getting used to knowing what legendaries to transition into is to make a new plan and filling it with the items that you want to look for. After you finish your build, you can swap to this new plan that has all your legendary items so that you don't forget. Now I'll go over the 5 different rare materials and the ways in which you can obtain them. Meteorite will drop from the sky in certain zones every day-night cycle, starting from the first night. It also does a lot of damage, so don't stand inside the circle before it lands. Meteorite also has a chance to drop from bears and Wickline. Tree of Life spawns 2 at a time, and this only happens twice per game for a total of 4. The first set spawns after day 1 night in Cemetery and Hotel. The second set always spawns after day 2 night in Hospital and Forest. Tree of Life can also drop from bears and Wickline. Mithril is obtained by killing Alpha, which spawns only once per game after day 2 morning. Mithril can also drop from bears and Wickline. Force Core is obtained by killing Omega, which spawns only once per game after day 3 morning. Force Core can also be made by combining a Tree of Life with a Meteorite. Force Core can drop from bear, but not from Wickline. Blood Sample is obtained by killing Wickline, which is the final objective in the game, and it spawns at day 3 night. Aside giving you Blood Sample, Wickline also gives you a very strong damage over time buff that lasts 5 minutes. Wickline spawns in the middle of the map, also known as Research Center. It can spawn in 1 of 4 different entrances. You can check in which entrance she will spawn by hovering your camera over them 1 minute before it spawns. Wickline is considered to be the most important objective in the game, so make sure to be there every time it spawns, even if it's just to stop someone else from getting it for free. The last thing I'll go over is the credit system. Credits were added in Season 6 as a way to remotely summon common and rare materials. Each passing day-night cycle, you're granted 10 credits. To gain more, you need to kill other players or mutant animals. Mutant animals are also a new addition to Season 6. They're stronger and tankier than regular animals, and they spawn randomly around the map. The credits that you earn can be spent on any common material by right-clicking it through the crafting menu, or directly from your saved plan. The cost of common materials is 15 credits, and it goes up by 1 with each passing day. For a much bigger price, you can also spend credits to get rare materials. To order a rare material, you first have to go to a transfer console, which are located in Hotel, Avenue, Chapel, and Hospital. After ordering something, it will take 20 seconds for it to spawn. Once you claim it, that same transfer console can be used for 1 minute. Alright, that's all for this video. I'll put all the links I mentioned throughout the video in the description. I really hope this video was helpful to any new players coming into the game, and I hope you can let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see or how I can improve with my videos, since this is still like my second video that I've done. I stream Eternal Return often on Twitch, and I'm always happy to answer any questions that you may have about the game. And I also hand out NP codes every month, so if you're interested in that, then be sure to pass by. That's all for now, and see you guys next time.